Hello, everyone. This is Todd Walters, Platinum Coach with Craig Proctor Real Estate Coaching, and welcome to another edition of our monthly coaching webinar. Now, let me kind of put this into perspective here for you, let everybody get settled in, and I'll go ahead and suggest, minimize distractions, grab a notepad, grab a pen. You're going to want to take some notes here. This is cool stuff. I was at Mark Gastineau's office a couple of weeks ago in Phoenix. He won a TW for a Day contest, and we were talking about his business, and he's got a bunch of REO accounts, and he gets multiple or simultaneous offers on these things. And it was pretty interesting talking to him about the offers, and that led to me asking a lot of questions about all the buyers that make the offers. I'm like, what are you doing with the buyers who make these offers on the properties? Because only one guy wins, right? And of course, he said nothing. So it got me looking a little bit deeper at the process that they use. The process for gathering information. So I gave them some great ideas and some strategies. They loved it, and it led me to go back and look for a PowerPoint that I put together for Platinum members a couple of years ago. I guess it was about a year and a half ago, at one of our conferences on stealing business from your competitors. Now, when I use the word stealing, people freak out a little bit. They think that, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. But let's make sure that we're all on the same page here. This is legal theft. Okay, so I just like to use the word stealing and theft because it's provocative and it gets you to pay attention, and it tells a great story, and it's fun from a marketing perspective. All right, but at the end of the day, all this really is just good business practices. Okay, many of you have opportunities that you're just not capitalizing on at all. Okay, and there's some really crappy statistics out there with among real estate agents. For example, I was talking to Leon D'Ancona of IMS, and he gave me some stats here, I guess last month, on some numbers from last year. And in most major markets, the numbers were, out of all the agents that sold the house, okay, well, here's a better way to say it. Out of all the agents that sold the home in your marketplace, all of them that sold a house, 50 to 60%, okay, sold either 1, 2, or 3 homes. That's it. So the majority of homes being sold are being sold by agents that sell 1, 2, or 3 homes a year. So as a member, that's unacceptable to let those part-timers and those lesser agents take business from you. Okay, so I like to look at it a different way as well, which is let's pretend that you owned a jewelry store, okay? And you've got your jewelry store there on the corner, and a customer walks in, and you walk up to the customer, and you're like, hey, welcome to my store today. What can I do for you? And the guy says, shh, don't tell anybody I'm here. You're like, oh, okay. And the guy says, well, normally, not just normally, but always, I always buy my jewelry from that other jewelry store across the street. Yeah, I'm on their VIP list. As a matter of fact, the jewelry store's owner is my brother-in-law. Well, what would you do? Well, this is what real estate agents do. Well, you know what? Then you need to go back across the street there and buy from them. You better get out of my store as quickly as possible, because the board of jewelry, the board of jewelers, are going to come over here, and I'm going to get in trouble. Right? That's the real estate agent paradigm. Now, I know it's kind of funny, and I'm making fun of it, but at the end of the day, come on. Okay, so I was looking back over the Realtor Code of Ethics, and it basically is just disclosure laws. It's just basically disclosing and treating people fairly. Okay, but in no way is it intended for you to be a numbnuts and ignore business and understand that you are better equipped to help these people than many of them that are in their present situation. Okay, so I was quick to tell. As a matter of fact, here's another funny story. I went to my real estate broker one day, and I said, hey, can I direct mail everybody in the MLS? And they were like, sure. And I was like, okay. So I proceeded to do that when they picked up on my marketing copy one day. It's like, well, you can't send this. And I was like, well, why not? Well, and they had to go and show me that, you agree as a realtor, board of realtor member, that you won't solicit these listings that are currently on the market for sale. And I'm like, I just don't see that it says that. It doesn't say that specifically. That's just something that you guys made up. Okay, so we kind of got into it a little bit. And I agreed basically not to direct mail all of the homes in the MLS, okay, that were actively for sale, without disclosing that this is not an attempt to solicit your property if it's currently listed with an agent. So that's all I had to do to direct mail all the listings in my MLS, was to put that statement on there. So how loose is those little rules and laws? Okay, now that's coming from the Board of Realtors, which is just a governing body. It's an association that you join. You join it, you pay them money, and you agree because you're joining it to follow their little rules. But it's not a law. Law would be like if you're discriminating against or committing fraud or something like that. So everybody understand? So there's a difference between the, quote, Realtor Code of Ethics in the United States and some of the laws that local municipalities will put on real estate agents for disclosure in marketing and advertising. Okay, there's a big difference there. So let's make sure you understand it. So in Canada, there are a lot of regulation or regulatory boards. Real estate boards will turn into regulators, and they control your license. Okay, so let's make sure you understand the difference. In Georgia, the state of Georgia controls my real estate state license. There's a Georgia Association of Realtors, but it is not necessarily, they can't decide whether to take my license away. That has to be done by the state if I violate laws. Okay, now the reason I'm saying this is because it's complicated. There are some complications to stealing people's business. Okay, so I look at it like this. It's either right or wrong. Okay, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. Okay, so that's how I want to present this program to you today, is there's right and there's wrong. Okay, did everybody get that? Now, when I say right and wrong, I'm not talking about from a law standpoint or license standpoint, because all those things exist and it's real gray and it's confusing. Everybody understand? Right. So when I say right or wrong, I'm talking about just morally, say from God. All right, now let me give you an example. The Good Samaritan story from the Bible. Everybody's familiar with that. There's a guy on the side of the road. He's been beat up by some thugs and thieves, and he's left there. He's half clothed, and it's a long story from Jewish tradition. And people walk by, different kinds of people, and they avoid helping him, even though the right thing to do is to help him. But in their mind, it was the wrong thing to do. Because I'm in this kind of religion, and that guy over there is a different kind of religion, so I'm not going to help him. It would be wrong for me to help him. I better stay away from him because I'll contaminate myself. But in that person's mind, he absolutely believes, the Pharisee, for example, believes he's doing the right thing by avoiding the Samaritan. I mean, the person who was hurt, the Jewish person who was hurt. Everybody get that? Okay, so remember now, it's all how you look at this. And what I'm going to show you here over the next few minutes, because it is, in my opinion, controversial. And so I'm trying to do a good job of setting it up for you, get everybody a chance to get settled in. But the first thing is you can't be squeamish about this. I equate this to asking for more commission. All right, so I was just talking to a platinum member who's feeling a lot of pressure on downward commissions in their marketplace. I said, well, you should be getting at least 6%. Nobody gets 6%. Nobody gets 6%. I'm like, well, I'm sure somebody's getting 6%. And of course, he finds, well, yeah, there's one guy who gets 6%. Okay, well, if there's one, there's somebody else, and there's somebody else, there's somebody. Cost is only a factor in the absence of value. Okay, so be careful about saying no, and be careful about following the majority. Okay, so one more point on that. The majority is typically wrong about everything. The majority thought the earth was flat, for example. Okay, the majority thought there were man-made global warming. All right, so I'm just telling you, the list goes on and on. The majority thought that the food pyramid developed for our public school systems in the United States was right. Carbs, carbs, carbs. All right, so be really careful about following the majority on anything. All right. 95% of all real estate agents make under $100,000. That would be definitely the majority. So in my opinion, 95% of all real estate agents are wrong about how to make money. So we don't want to follow them. Okay, so I think I've got your head right now. Good. So we can get into it. So bottom line is, don't be squeamish about what I'm going to share with you today. Don't be timid. Who was it? Zig Ziglar says timid salespeople have skinny kids. So you're obligated to your stockholders to produce profit. Do you agree with that? Turning profit away is grounds for dismissal. Here's what I know about you. All right? When you make more money, when you produce more profit, you invest more money into your business, you hire more people, you give more money to your church, you get more involved with your school, you take mission trips, you produce more for your community. You spend more money on personal things for your house and stuff, which means that you support your local economy. That's what happens when you make more money. Entrepreneurs are not like the general public. Okay, you're a real estate entrepreneur, so you're not like everybody else who just has a job. Let's make sure. So the liberal mentality is that you are. So when you make money, you're going to just spend it all. You're not going to reinvest it back in your business to hire people. They don't get that. You have an insatiable desire to grow your business. That's why you have one. Okay, and there's a lot of people out there in the political world, especially on the left, that believe that you're not going to do that. You're just going to spend it all, which I'm going to say is still a good thing, because that spending trickles down. But that's not true. Okay, as a serial real estate entrepreneur, you're going to invest into your business, right? Okay. So you're obligated to do that. That's the road you get. That's the position you get in. So you can't be turning it away. So every chance you see to create more business for yourself, you've got to take advantage of. All right. So now let's look at the categories of business that we have, that maybe we've got some opportunities to take it from somebody else who's screwing it up. Okay, now remember, the statistics I gave you, please try to remember all those things that I just set up in this webinar here. Okay, just remember everything I just set up for you, so that you don't cringe too much when I start sharing some of these things with you, okay? Now, buyers and sellers who contact you about real estate but are currently working with another agent would be one category. Would you agree? Okay, you can hear the sirens going off. My office is right on Main Street in Alpharetta, Georgia, and the fire department is right up the road. And they zoom by here about every 3 days. Okay, next category, buyers and sellers that are not contacting you, but it's obvious they have an agreement with another agent. All right? Give an example. You drive down the road and you see a listing on the market, or at least there's a sign in the yard, and it appears to be listed with a real estate agent because there's an agent sign in the yard. But you know what? I remember pulling up expired listings and driving by those expired listings, and the signs are still in the yard. Signs stay in yards well beyond the listing contract. So that is true. So be careful about that. But it's still a category. Buyers and sellers that are not calling you, but they do have an agreement with another prospect. And the category that we're not going to talk about today is, of course, buyer and seller prospects who have no agent. Okay, we're not going to talk about those people today, because we do that on all of our other coaching and stuff. So we're talking about prospects who appear to have agents. Right? Oh, another category I want to throw in here is real estate agents who have clients. There are real estate agents who don't have clients, and there are real estate agents who have clients. All right. So what happens when a prospect calls you? You have a callback script and you follow it and you do a good job of that. Okay, and you ask this question right here. Are you currently working with a real estate agent? And if the prospect says yes, what do? Well, your next question is, do you feel obligated to continue working with that agent? All right, so you may want to write that. If you're not asking that question, you're making a big mistake. Because this is your opportunity to take the business away from somebody else, and I think you should. Okay? Absolutely. If it's available, the buyer will tell you, or the seller will tell you yes or no if they feel obligated. If the answer is no, then you got to make your move. Right? So, no, I don't feel obligated to continue working with that agent. So now you're going to make your offer. And everybody knows what the offer is. You've got your buy first and sell first offers, right? Make those offers, close for the appointment. Now, let's assume, though, that the home is listed for sale. Okay, let's go back and let's assume it's a seller. Home is listed for sale. Do you feel obligated to continue working with that agent? No. Okay, well, I'm going to close with my seller offer, book an appointment to come over and show them, and at the appointment, I'm going to present benefits and I'm going to close for the business. But the problem is that I can't take the business because he already has a listing with somebody else. Now, some of you are freaking out right now, saying, well, wait a second, Todd. If we know the home is for sale, have you seen the contract? The guy told me on the telephone that no, I'm not obligated to continue working with that agent. That's all I know. I have not seen the listing contract. Okay. So that's what I'm going by as a seller's what the seller told me. Period. I don't want to see the listing contract. I don't need to see it. Guy tells me I don't feel obligated. Okay? So that's what I'm going by, period. So I follow through on my appointment. I go to the house. When I get there, there's a sign in the yard, okay, from some other real estate agent. I walk in. I still do my thing because he said, no, I don't want to. Yes, I want you to come over. Yes, I want you to show me how you do things, what you do. Okay, but after I do that, when I close for the business, I'm going to have to explain to them that, look, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help you right now because it appears that you're under agreement with another real estate agent. Is that the case? And if they say, yes, we have an agreement with them. Okay, well, I don't know what that agreement says, but since you have an agreement with somebody, it's just our policy that we don't enter an agreement with somebody who has one that's active. Okay, so your options is that you either continue doing what you're doing with them, or you talk to that agent about getting out of the agreement, or, you and I hook back up if down the road if your home doesn't sell. Those are your options. Okay, but see, now he knows that I'm in a position to do a better job, and we know where this is going. He wants to do business with me, okay, and he knows an option is to call his other agent and get out from underneath the agreement. And he does that, okay? And if he does, great. All right, so that's it. But it's my policy not to engage a buyer or seller's business unless they're able to commit to the process 100%. But I can't cancel the listing agreement for them or the buyer agreement for them, okay? But I'm only interested in if they feel obligated to continue working with them or not. And if they don't, I'm making my move. Okay, now you got to decide whether you want to do that or not. But I'm telling you that the big dogs that I know across this country, in North America, the U.S. and Canada, they ask that question. Do you feel obligated to continue working with an agent? If the answer is no, you make your move. Okay? And I just gave you good reasons why. Most of the agents out there are not near as good as you. They're going to screw it up. And 69% of homeowners, according to National Association of Realtors here in the United States, 69% of homeowners will not go back and do business with the same agent again. I could go on and on with all these stats. So if you want to roll over and let lesser people stomp on your industry, that's fine. I'm not going to do that. I do a better job. I want the business, and when we get it, people get what they want. They get it more likely. They get it faster, and they get it easier. Okay, so we're just better to do business with than most of the other real estate agents out there. So if I got an opportunity to take it, I will. Okay, but there's a legal way to do it. But I'm looking at it, that's the right thing to do. Why would I want to leave somebody in a miserable situation? I'm sorry, I can't help you. All right, I just think that's wrong. Somebody looking at me and tears in their eyes, and they're like, I need help. You're the only one that can help me. I know, but I'm sorry, but the mythical board of whatever is going to come over here and get me, which is not the case if I'm following the way that I'm laying it out for you. All right, so let's look at, once we kind of get through the script then, let's look at a few practical applications. I think all of you are fine with asking that question on the phone and then closing for face-to-face appointments, regardless of whether there are agreements in place or not. The seller's invited you over. And once you're in, you're in. Okay, so let's look at buyers. Okay, co-broke makes an offer on one of your listings. Cooperating real estate agent. Okay, they make an offer on one of your listings. I would suggest that you require, just like you require a pre-qualification letter, you might want to consider requiring buyer contact information as well. All right, now this is routine. All right, so before you start freaking out there, this is routine with any bank in Canada and the United States. They require the buyer making an offer to the bank their contact info. Who are you? Where do you live? What's your contact information? For very good reason. So if the bank can do it, so can your seller. It's just that you've done it. And in most circles, not all. First of all, what I'm sharing with you is not anything new. This didn't just materialize. This is the way business is done in some segments of the industry. I remember when I bought a commercial building, I had to provide that information, matter of fact. So I know it's done in commercial industry, probably more frequently than residential. So why can't your seller require it? So that's what I suggested to, well, put it this way, Mark Gastineau, when I was at his office in Phoenix, he's got a form that the bank actually requires filled out. And it has a space in there for the buyer's information, name, phone number, address, and all that good stuff. And I was like, well, how come you're not filling out? He goes, well, we do, but we just usually put in the buyer's agent's contact info. I said, but that's not what the form says. The form says buyer's contact info. So you're not even doing what the bank wants you to do. He said, well, it's just kind of accepted that. I was like, well, dude, because if it were me, I'd be wanting the buyer's contact info, because when the offer doesn't work out, I'm going to call the buyer back, and they're going to be my buyer, because they're going to be pissed at their agent if the offer doesn't work out. If the offer works out, I'm going to protect that agent. I'm going to help them get this deal done. But if the offer doesn't work out, then I'm going to follow up with the buyer if I have their contact info. Now, this is where some of you may be cutting the webinar off and hanging up and thinking I've freaked out or something. But those of you who know me really, really well know this is absolutely fair practice. Buyer makes an offer on one of my listings. It doesn't work out because maybe he gets beat out by other buyers, or it just didn't work out. Okay, one thing that I know is he's not that happy. He blames who? Most of the time, his agent. Okay, so I'm going to take advantage of that and exploit that situation, because I can do a better job for this guy. So here's the callback script. Hello, this is Todd Walters. You recently made an offer on our property over at 1065 Gunner Court. Unfortunately, another buyer had a better offer for the seller. I just wanted to call and tell you that I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. Are you currently working with an agent? Now, this is where they typically will say no. Okay, but some of them will say, yes, I am. Okay, and I'll say, well, do you feel obligated to continue working with an agent? Now, understand, this guy's not happy. He didn't get the house that he wanted. Oops. Oh, there's my Infusionsoft program popping up there. Forgot I left it on. All right, so you see the script. Do you feel obligated to continue working with that agent? The reason I'm asking is that we have a program that allows buyers to get priority access to only the homes matching their exact criteria, including bank-owned properties, even for sale by owners. So when a property becomes available, our custom computerized software grabs that property instantly, and then it forwards it to the buyer. This way you're able to beat out other buyers to the best homes, sort of like if you were a real estate agent. Now it's a free service. Does that sound like it would help you? And if the guy says yes, I close for the appointment. That's it. So let's take a look at that again. Just require buyer contact info form from your seller. Now, those of you who have bank-owned listings, you're doing it now. But just get the buyer's contact info. Have your inside sales agent follow up with them if the offer doesn't work out. And follow the script right here. Okay? And close. You should probably put that in there. Let's do that. Close for appointment. All right. So what do you think about that? How many of you guys are saying, yeah, that sounds a great idea? And it is a great idea. And I just thought there was something a lot of you did anyway. So, all right. So let's move on. Let's look at a few other categories. Buyers and sellers that are not contacted. Well, if you are a realtor, you have agreed not to directly solicit properties currently listed for sale by another agent. National Association of Realtors and the Canadian boards ask you to add this clause to much of your marketing. Not intended to solicit a property currently listed for sale by another agent. Now, here's what I found, is that the Georgia Association of Realtors, Georgia Real Estate Commission, which is the state that regulates licenses, they come and saw me one day looking at some of my marketing because they had received a complaint from another real estate agent out there or broker. So they come over and I laid it all out for them and they were absolutely fine with it. And I asked them point blank, I said, so you're telling me that if I've got this on there, not intended to solicit properties currently for sale, I'm okay? And they said, yeah. I said, so any seller that gets this whose home's on the market for sale, they said, look, Todd, we don't care about that. We just want to make sure you're not breaking any laws, disclosure laws. I'm like, okay, do I even need this on there? They said, no, because you're not breaking any disclosure laws. But that's something that the Association of Realtor requires because you're a realtor. But we don't have anything to do with that. We're the state, we're the licensing committee, and we just want to make sure you're following applicable laws. And I'm like, okay, interesting. Okay, so I found out that this requirement was specifically for realtors. When I say realtors, realtor is an association, realtor. Which led to my next question, which was, so if I'm not a realtor, do I have to put that on there? Not intended to solicit property claim for sale. And the answer is, you don't. But we're going to tackle that one in a minute. Okay? But for the most part, what I found is that when we put this on our information, it actually increased response. Okay? And now it frees me up to get it into anybody's hand I want to. This is why many of you will direct mail expired listings and they've already been relisted for sale, and you don't get into any kind of hot water with anyone because you've got that statement on there down here in the bottom. It's kind of blurry, not intended to solicit properties currently for sale. But you still get the calls from the seller that says, yeah, I just listed my home for sale, but I got this postcard here or this offer or this flyer or I saw this or I saw that, and I want to talk to you about it. And, of course, that's when you go back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago with the script, and you follow it. It's a pretty good postcard, by the way. Hey, take a look at this right here on your page. To order a free special report that explains how our unique and proven VIP Builder Guaranteed Sale Program will benefit you. Because this was on the back of our VIP Builder card. But you can just drop the VIP Builder and just go with the Guaranteed Sale Program, for example, if you want to do that. But a free report is optimal. All right, so anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so anyway, all right, voice broadcasting. Now, when we used to voice broadcast, we would just call up I would record a message like you see on your screen right here, and it would blast out. Okay, but it didn't contain this that I just put in black right there. Okay, let me just bold that, and I'll blow that back up here so we can see it. It didn't contain that. It just said, hey, this is Todd Walters with the Realty Team, and I'm calling about your house. And I just went right into it. Okay, well, we had a couple of brokers calling and whining about that. So I was like, you know what? Thank you. Because I knew what would happen. Because I forgot. So I put it in there, and when I put it in there, and that's the first thing I'm saying, I got more calls. Hey, this is Todd Walters with the Realty Team here in town, and I'm calling about your house. Look, if your home is listed right now with a real estate agent, do not call me. As a matter of fact, you probably don't even want to listen to this message. And what do you think people do? That's right. They listen. Okay, so it was ingenious. So I thanked those people for complaining because it actually increased my calls. Hey, just for the record here, and I know you guys are reading these scripts, and that's why I put them up here so you can take a look at these voice broadcast scripts. There were times in my real estate business where we did not have an inside salesperson calling FSBOs and expireds, and there were times that we did. So if I ever had a time where I didn't have one, we would call around our direct mail using voice broadcasting. Recently, within the last couple of years, in the United States, the FCC has passed regulations where you can't do this unless people have opted in or said it's okay for you to do it. Okay, so just remember that. All right, so anyway, I wanted to show you those voice broadcast scripts and how they improved when we added that disclosure and that statement to it. Okay, here's another example of some voice broadcasting scripts using a 60-day guarantee. Okay, like, hello, it's Todd Walters calling about your house. Look, if your home is on the market right now with a real estate agent, you've got it listed with them, just ignore this message, okay, because this is not an attempt for us to get your listing. Okay. In other words, hey, I'm not calling to list your house. That's all you got to say. Hey, this is Todd Walters with the Realty Team, and I'm calling about your home, but I'm not calling about listing it. I just want to let you know that we've got a database of motivated buyers, and based on the description of your home, I think some of these folks would be interested in it. I'm pretty confident that they would, that if you and I talk and we look at the property and within 60 days they don't buy it, I'll pay you money, $1,000 cash. That's how confident I am that one of these buyers is interested. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, give me a call. I was talking to some Platinum members earlier today, a couple different ones, and you're calling expireds and FSBOs and stuff. These are much better scripts than some of the things you guys were sharing with me. All right, so anyway, several examples there on those 2 pages, so that should be enough. Okay, so let's take a look at some direct marketing. Direct marketing you can do to steal business away from other agents out there. Set yourself up to be somebody different, okay? So this right here I pulled out of a PowerPoint from a conference about 1.5 years ago. I want to share with you. So here's some headlines. Okay, headlines for marketing, specifically targeting frustrated sellers. Okay, what to do when your home doesn't sell the first time, where to turn when your home is not selling, where to turn when you lose confidence in your real estate agent, how to sell a house that is not selling, how to sell a house that didn't sell, how to fire your realtor and sell your own home. "11 critical mistakes realtors make you must be aware of when selling a home in today's market. 7 reasons your home may not be selling. 10 questions to ask your realtor if your home is not selling. The reason your home is not selling may have nothing to do with you and everything to do with your agent." All right, so I'll stop there. and I'll give you this little disclaimer here that says that running these editorial ads will cause lesser agents and equalizers in society to gather a posse and hunt you down like you're some kind of murderer or something. And I know that there are some rules that in some boards that say you can't say anything bad about another agent. All right, so let's be sure to tell you that these don't, because the report that we use, these are headlines. All these are headlines, okay, that I just mentioned to you, okay? And I'll just run back through them here and show them to you. All right, headlines, headlines, headlines. Okay, all those headlines are used with this ad. The 10 questions to ask before you hire an agent. Most of those headlines have been tested and they all work pretty well depending on the circumstance. So some of you have been looking for something to put in the real estate sections of your local papers. So hopefully I'll give you some pretty good ideas now. If you're in a marketplace like that, and this may not, those headlines may not work in your marketplace, but some of them will. This is a great headline, 10 questions to ask. And Craig liked to put in there before you hire an agent. So all I did was change and test some of the other headlines that says, hey, the reason your home is not selling. So in other words, insinuating that your home's already listed for sale. And of course, not intended to solicit properties currently listed for sale. All right, so that's the editorial ad and there's the headlines. Okay, so what's the free report? Well, the free report is the agent selection guide. Okay, so here's the cover letter. Okay, and let's just get an idea of what this free report cover letter says. Okay, remember now, these are typically people whose home is on the market. They requested this free report from this ad. For most people, sell their homes one of the 5 most important financial transactions of their entire life. All real estate agents are definitely not the same. So right away, we're creating some doubt. Okay, please do not hire an agent until you've read the enclosed material. Well, I've already hired an agent, so maybe I should have had this ahead of time. Now I want it even more. Okay, in the last 20 years, I've helped over 5,000 people sell their homes, and you've come back to me only after having horrible experiences with people. So we put this together, this report, to help those people like you. Okay, if after reading the enclosed material, you believe a different direction with a new agent may be beneficial, give me a call. Okay, so check this out. If you decide to discuss the sale of your home with me and contact me no later than the date marked in red ink below, okay, so you're definitely starting to see it, right? So I'm like, look, you don't have to call me. Take a look at the material, and then I throw in a deadline, okay, to create urgency. All right, you got it. So I thought you would like that one. Give you a chance to take a look at that. So read that really well right there, that PS. And I will make this available for all of you online here within the next couple of days. You can take a look at it and copy it. All right, so what we send them is the agent selection guide. Biggest mistake a homeowner can make when interviewing agents: selection factors chart, your short list, hot topics, key questions to ask, and of course facts and answers. Mistakes to avoid, and the result of the mistakes. All right. Now, a little bit ago, I let the cat out of the bag when I said, if you're a realtor, then you have promised that you would abide by their code of ethics, which in my opinion are not code of ethics, they're socialism. Did I just say that? Holy crap, I'm going to get in trouble. I probably shouldn't have said that. Okay, maybe that's not the right word. It's socialists that are trying to equalize everybody, put everybody on the same playing field. You get that? In other words, what they're saying is, we know some of you are really, 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 really good, and we know some of you are really, 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 really bad, but we want all of you to be the same. Okay? In other words, if you're really, really good, the ones that are really, really bad probably aren't going to be able to be really good, so you've got to be bad like them. Okay? And when we say bad, we're talking about just do bad jobs for people. Am I wrong? That's what it is. Okay. So anyway, again, this is just my opinion. I think I disclosed that earlier. So if you're not a realtor, you're not a member of the National Association of Realtors, you can do whatever you want to do. There's no code of ethics for you other than just whatever the laws are. Okay, whatever the law says, in your area. But the Board of Realtors is not law. Okay, you can direct mail your whole MLS. You can pick up the phone and call anybody you want to and say, your agent is an idiot and you should be in business with me. Did you know you could do that if you're not a realtor? That's right. Now, I discovered this because in Georgia, you do not have to be a member of the Board of Realtors to be a licensed real estate agent. It's an option. Georgia's a right to work state. You don't have to be a member of a union. You do not have to join an association. Okay, for example, to have my real estate license, I don't have to join the National Association of Realtors. That's pretty easy to understand. Okay, so I was a member of the National Association of Realtors, and there were times when I wasn't. Okay, so we can directly solicit the listing in front of a listing agent if we're not a realtor. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go out there and quit your association because some of you got problems. Many of your markets are monopolized by the Realtor Association. As a matter of fact, many marketplaces, the realtors own the MLS. So unless you're a realtor, they won't let you into the MLS. Now, just so you'll know that it hasn't been challenged. In places that it has been challenged, they've lost. But okay, because there's antitrust laws in the United States against those things. But who among us is going to spend the money to challenge those things? Just go join the realtor club, and you get access of it, and you're fine. So I don't think you need to do these crazy things. Right? I'm just letting you know the facts. Okay, but the facts is that in many boards, you don't have access to the MLS unless you are a realtor. Okay, but there's a difference between having your real estate license and being a realtor. You just may not know that where you are right now because the avenues are small. Okay, cool. So, interesting though, huh? I thought you'd like that. Now, I do know that there are probably about 25 platinum members out of the 150 that we have that are not realtors. That's right. Okay. How to steal the agent's business without them knowing it or actually giving you permission to even take it. In other words, we'll just take it right from them, and they probably don't even know we're taking it from them. All right, so let's take a look at that. And it has to do with your agent referral program. Okay, so let me just get right to an example. Here we go. Right here. Look at this MLS printout. This is a home we had for sale back in the day in Appalachian Farms up there in Tequila. Okay, and look at right here in the private remarks. Will buy, and there's a typo right there, damn it. We'll buy your buyer's home. Visit for details. Contact Tricia. So when Tricia set up this listing, she had a little typo in there. That's pretty crazy. So whenever I copied this into a file, I didn't notice that. It annoys me. But anyway, you get the message that we'll buy your buyer's home. And we created a website specifically for other brokers and agents so that they could go to and they could submit their inquiry. Now, my guess is that URL doesn't work anymore because this is my old real estate company that I sold, and they probably even quit doing this after I sold it to them. Among many things, they probably quit doing, but that's what that is. Okay, so private remarks. We will buy your buyer's home if they move up and buy one of our listings. You still get paid. Call for conditions. All right, so now your question is, well, how do we pay the other agent? Well, look, the only time it's an issue is if their home doesn't sell. And remember what I said. 50 to 60% of all the agents that sell a house sell 1, 2, or 3 homes. And there are lots of those agents that list property and they just can't get anything done with it, but the guy wants to go buy a house. So they figure one commission is better than nothing. So they'll turn them over to me. We'll go out and list their house and we'll sell it. And we'll pay the agent a referral fee, okay, when we sell their home, and they get the co-op commission on the home that they're buying. That's how it works. We just took the business from them. If I'm going to guarantee the sale of the house, then I've got to factor in that extra 3% to make sure that it's covered, because my down payment, if I have to buy the home, has to be covered, right? All right. Other options is to buy other agents' listings from them. You know, we'll give you $300 if you'll let us have that listing cash right now. So do you know who the bottom barrel feeder agents are in your marketplace? So I get this direct mail one day from from a member. This was 2 or 3 years ago, platinum member, and they said, hey, look, this is what I want to send around to the agents in my marketplace. I worked with Leon, and he showed me who the bottom feeders were, and I've identified that some of these guys have listings, which are 1 or 2, not very many of them. So I thought I'd send them a letter and give them cash for the referral. I was like, man, that's a great idea. So I'm passing that on to you right here today. So $300 cash now and 25% upon closing if you'll refer that over to me. Now, is this high percentage water? No. But if you know who those agents are, yeah. You talk to an agent, they're on the fence about a referral, or sending you the business instead of doing it themselves, and it's a good property that you want, that might be a pretty good offer to me. Okay? And again, we use the private remarks to promote these things. And on occasion, we would email the agents in our database. As a matter of fact, let's look at what some of those emails might say and some of those other phone calls might say. Hey, Judy, it's Todd Walters. I hope you don't mind this. And I copied and pasted this into PowerPoint, so it's a little jumbled together, so bear with me. But we can all read. Hope you don't mind this unusual letter, but I thought you may be interested in what I'm doing, what I'm going to share with you. A common problem agents are experiencing today is listings sitting on the market, not selling. Sellers taking their frustrations out on them. Even worse, agents investing time, money, family sacrifices into months of trying to get a listing sold and have the seller decide to go with another agent or sell FISBO. Right? Does not have to be that way. In case you're unaware, we've got a very special need program we've been running for close to 20 years now. One that has admittedly made it tough for other agents in the marketplace to compete with going head-to-head with me and my team. Probably shouldn't say that, but I did. Probably shouldn't have. Probably been more successful without that statement. So I've learned a little bit since even this letter was written. No reason to say that. That's just like pouring salt into the wound. So it probably diminishes response, that statement right there. So I would take that out. Let's see. You may know it is it has move up to any one of my listings. I'll buy your home for cash. I call it my guaranteed sale program, but due to the tough market for many agents, I wanted to do everything I could to help the agents in our market make money from the hard work they're putting in. So developing an exclusive program that will put money into a listing agent's hand literally overnight. Win-win-win home selling system. Bottom line is that you get paid on any listing. You do no work, invest no money, and still get paid. Here's how it works. Any listing you have or will have that you're not motivated to work on, you call me. I'll pay you $300 cash on the spot for the referral, pay you a handsome 25% referral fee of our income when we close. Right? And this is where some people would get offended. I say, look, I'm not here to steal anything or take anything that you fall hard to get. But if it's just something you're not willing to do, let me know. All right. Oh, and check this out. You get paid whether the home sells or not. And if your seller is a buyer, we'll guarantee you get 100% of the buyer's commission if they decide to move up and buy one of our listings. All right. So anyway, it's pretty slick marketing right there. It definitely generated a few extra listings. Now, let me tell you why. Oh, and here's an email from Frank Prindle that he was doing the same thing up in Virginia. Let me tell you why we did this. Number one, I ran out of things to do. Okay, like we're getting 1,000 leads a month, and we're selling dozens and dozens and dozens of homes a month, 50, 60 houses, and I've got ads in every freaking magazine, every newspaper. I'm direct mailing everybody I can. The only thing I'm not doing is radio or television. So I'm like, okay, what else can I do? Because the radio and television market here for me is just out of reach. So what's next? All right, so that's really where that agent referral campaign came through. So am I telling you guys to go out and do that right now? No. But I wanted to give you an idea because you come across these instances from time to time in your business, right? So let's just go back and review here real quick, right? Instances that you come across, and you do come across, okay? Buyers and sellers who contact you about real estate, and they say, yes, I'm currently working with another agent. Buyers and sellers that don't contact you at all, but seem to have an obvious agreement with another agent, okay? So are you going after these people? And I showed you where we did it, but you better be careful, because if you're a realtor, you say you've agreed not to do that, okay? But we just added the disclosure and disclaimer to our marketing, and believe it or not, they said it was okay as long as I had that in there. Okay, so I'm just cautioning you to pay very close attention to the rules, the exact what it says in writing. Now, I'll be more than happy to help any of you one-on-one look at that and give you my unprofessional advice about it. Okay, say, yeah, you may want to talk to an attorney about that, or no, it's pretty clear, or you know what, that's not what that says. All right, so those kinds of things. But I'll be more than happy to get in discussions about it, but I am not going to tell you guys what to do and what not to do in any of this stuff. I'm just giving you ideas and strategies that you can take advantage of. And instead of turning much of this business away, it's okay for you to close it. Take it away from other people. All right, so I think I've done a pretty good job of giving you lots of examples today on that. All right, so with that, that's going to wrap up the webinar. Okay, the one that I want to leave you with, though, is this right here. Okay. All right, so this is the headline of our webinar today. It's really easy to do. Your buyer can require the buyer's contact info. You're making an offer on my house, dude. Who are you? Where do you live? You want me to put my house under contract with somebody I don't even know who they are? You can ask. Banks require it. Okay? You intercept that information because it comes through you. If the offer doesn't work out, contact the buyer. Okay? And follow this script. Right? Are you currently working with an agent? And the answer is yes or no, and you go from there. Right? That everybody can do and probably should be doing, especially in those hot marketplaces where you're getting simultaneous offers on your listings. All right? So with that, it's going to wrap up our webinar for today. And yeah, really a lot of fun. That was the purpose of this day, was have some fun with this, joke around a little bit, kid ourselves, make fun of each other in the industry. But, what a great, cool business to be in, huh? Working with people selling homes. But I do believe you guys are better than your competition, and I'm going to push you to be better, to understand your position out there in the marketplace. Understand that you know more and can do a better job than these people, and do it. All right? And you'll get paid for it, and people would love to do business with you if they knew how you did things. So with that, that wraps up our webinar. Let's go sell some houses. We'll talk to you real soon now. Take care. Bye-bye.